Hello and welcome to yet another of my videos. What we have here is another fine example of Marantz CD-85. I've had one of those advertised on eBay a couple of weeks ago, and it's sold within a week. And I managed to source another one. It's a fine player. CDM-1 Mk2 mechanism, the best, most reliable of all the Philips magnetic swing arm mechanisms, and a single crown chip, which is Philips TDA-1541A S1. That's the main features, but I mean it's a quality made. If you look at the back, it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regulators. One of them is a transistor. It's 5 regulators, and you got quality ELLA Cerafine capacitors. Other than quality capacitors, it had a lot of Philips brand capacitors, which look like this. And although this player had no fault, I mean it worked. I knew from the other one that they were leaky. The other ones, they sort of leaked a bit more, and I had to replace them, so I replaced those. This is like 30 capacitors. There's 20 on this board, 8 on the power supply, and couple on the actual drive on the board underneath the drive. So it's in very good condition, and there is basically nothing more to say about it, but let me just show you about these capacitors. I don't replace capacitors willy-nilly or rig up things for no reason, and but in here you can measure. There's a little device I have, you can measure. These are 47 microfarad capacitors at 20 volts. They should have an ESR of 1. Well, what we get here on this unit is we'll take a moment. You say it's got ESR of 16, so it's 16 times more leaky. ESR stands for equivalent series resistance, and the voltage loss is 11%. And of course capacitance is only 11 instead of 47 microfarad. So that's really, really bad. And this voltage loss is a voltage it holds after a 1 second pulse, 1 second after a pulse. There's another one, and this one I think is even worse. It comes from the same player. It's remarkable that it even worked with all these capacitors. And this one is, you can see it, 0.11 of a kilo ohm. So this is like 110 ohms. Instead of 47 is 1.4 microfarad, 1.6, 1.7 basically microfarad, and the voltage loss 11%. So this is probably the worst capacitor I've ever seen. So there is obviously a point of investing one of those meters, and what I do if I suspect anything is even minutely wrong, I'll remove at random couple of them, and if any of them is not up to spec, well then they all have to go, and that was the case here. Well, thank you very much for your time. Or I might play you. This was a CDR, so obviously it does play CDRs. I'll play a quick couple of tones so you know that that it all works fine. It won't be long, and you can see that sort of reads table of contents immediately. We go to track 8, which is 0.9 of a millimeter interruption data layer, and we go track to 15, which is the black dot, and plays nice and smooth, meaning the player is interpolating data well, even with that lack of data due to flaw in a disk, which tells you that there are flaws in the disk, and you can see them there. Today you can see it much better than normally. Thank you very much for your attention. Until next time, bye bye.